anxiety takes over, our thoughts are going a mile a minute, right? We're thinking about worst case scenarios and social interactions that have gone terribly wrong, or at least that we think have gone terribly wrong. We think about worst case scenarios, and we just tend to have all of these different worried thoughts that aren't super helpful and that really scare our poor little amygdala. And oftentimes when we have this worry, sometimes we think, okay, it's preparing us for these scenarios that are gonna happen for sure. But often they're not being as helpful as we think that they are. So today we're gonna walk through a couple of grounding techniques that can be used or implemented in order to interrupt those worried thoughts so we feel less anxious overall. Let's get to it. Grounding exercises are meant to bring you back to the present moment by refocusing on either our breath, our body, or just our current environment. So it kind of brings us back to the here and now and takes us out of our worried thoughts. I cannot tell you how many times I've been in a session with a client, anxiety has its grip, and so after pausing and slowing down, focusing on the breath, going through one of these grounding techniques, things change quite rapidly through that practice. We're interrupting those worries, that anxiety, and oftentimes following that grounding exercise, there's a calmness and a clarity, and all of a sudden those thoughts that just really had its grip and were really scaring us a few minutes ago no longer seem as important. So let's go through a few of these different types of grounding techniques together so you have a pretty good idea of how you can implement them in your daily life. A simple way to come back to the present moment is by focusing your attention on your breath. So I'm going to guide you through a brief practice so you kind of get a feel for what this can be. You can take yourself through this if you want to try this or implement it in your daily life. Feel free to close your eyes here or keep them open, whatever feels safest for you today, whatever feels most comfortable for you today. Go ahead and place one hand on your lower abdomen. This will help us recognize if we are breathing in fully. Take a deep breath in and imagine sending the air to your lower abdomen. Feel your belly expand as you inhale and fall as you exhale. It's okay if this isn't coming naturally or if it feels difficult. Just keep trying your best. Give yourself grace, kindness, and allowance to be a work in progress. Curl your lips into a smile, accepting the challenge, and begin to notice what it feels like to be breathing. Feel how each breath moves through your body like a wave. Notice what your breathing is sounding like. Can you feel a difference in the temperature of your inhale versus your exhale? And let's take 3 of the deepest breaths that you have taken all day. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your lips. Allowing yourself the time to breathe and the space to breathe. This next technique is focused on making our exhale a bit longer than our inhale. This small tweak to our breathing pattern actually sends those signals to the brain, telling it that, hey, we're actually safe, so you can go ahead and send out those calming signals throughout the body, throughout the nervous system, to turn on our parasympathetic response. A very simple way to implement this particular technique is by counting how long our inhale is and by counting how long our exhale is. And we're gonna try to make our exhale twice as long as our inhale. So for instance, let's say our inhale lasts to the count of 3. We're gonna actually try to make our exhale then last to the count of 6. There is absolutely no reason that you need to strain yourself here. So if it feels uncomfortable to get to 3 or to get to 6, just listen to your body. Maybe it's 1 today, maybe it's 2 today, maybe it's 4 on the exhale. Really just listen to your body as best as you can while trying to make your exhale just a bit longer than your inhale, so you're turning on your parasympathetic response. Let's practice a few breath cycles together through this pattern. So we'll breathe in, 2, 3, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For more breathing techniques like this, you can check out this video. For this next technique, we're going to be using our senses to focus on an object. Now this can be a fidget cube or a stress ball, something of that nature. You can even use a food item if you want to, then you can bring in, taste and smell as well. Using an object, it's really more going to be on sight, hearing, and our sense of touch. Now I don't have one of those items with me, so I do have a bracelet that is kind of noisy and very colorful and textured, so I'm just going to be using that to guide us through this exercise today. And I'll go ahead and link a few options for like fidget cubes and those types of items down in the description, just for your convenience if you are wanting to get one of those for yourself. So let's first turn our attention to how this object or item looks. Try to name all the different colors that we can see. You can even see how the light is reflecting quite differently, or how it's creating shadows or shimmers, all of those different things. You can also identify, what are the different materials that you see here as well. And what about sounds? Does this item or object make sounds when you pick it up or move it around? If you kind of play with it in your hands a little bit, just focus on the different sounds that it's making. And then we're going to use our sense of touch to really explore this object. Now for this one, you can kind of see that there are a lot of different textures here. So just kind of rub them through your fingers, and you can see or feel just all the different textures here, focusing all your attention on the different surfaces that you're able to feel and identify. Just exploring the object, taking your time to do so. This last technique is going to lead you through kind of going through like a body scan, so to speak. We'll start at the top of our head and we'll work our way through our body down to the bottom of our feet. And while we do that body scan, we're going to be intentionally tensing our muscles and then relaxing our muscles. And we'll do that through each muscle group that we can think of as we do that body scan. Progressive muscle relaxations do tend to take a little bit longer, so I'm actually going to link a guided practice that I recorded and posted to my podcast, so you can check that out after you finish this video, so you can practice what that is like for you. And if it would actually be helpful to just have a guided progressive muscle relaxation on this channel, so everything's kind of in one place, do let me know and I'll definitely get that up for you. And as you're going through or implementing these types of practices in your daily life, especially in times where you are feeling anxious or worried, just remember that it takes 15 to 20 minutes of active coping, of actively using these techniques for our parasympathetic response to switch on. So you'll likely still feel a bit jittery even after going through these techniques if you are implementing them in times of stress or anxiety. That is perfectly normal. Please know that you are not doing anything wrong. It just takes time for our body to calm down. So trust in the process. It really does just take a little bit of time. I'll see you in my next video.